I probably should have considered that. That's okay. So we'll go ahead and just get started. So starting with a little stretch. Even though we're going to focus on lower body, it's so important that we do stretch a little bit of everything. So stretching right here, arm across chest, overhead, overhead again, here, reach forward, walk your feet together, hike, and then quad stretch right here and here. Next, we're going to do an elevated pigeon. These require a little bit of balance, so you might want to grab the back of a chair or something, or a wall, but stretching right here. Really work those abductors, adductors, because we'll be using a little bit of both today in our movements. Going in here. And then starting with just a side-to-side squat, so staying low, back and forth, just working those glutes, our quads, getting a little bit warmed up, and we're about to get into the cardio portion. Again, we'll do a little cool down stretch at the end as well. One more thing that we're going to do is a lot of stretch here. Very important, especially if you've been sitting all day, whether you work or you're studying, your lats will probably get very tight, and that's why you sometimes have like knots right here. Like after I sit for a long period of time, I'll have like a knot in my back and I'm like, oh my gosh, the worst feeling ever. All right, so we're going to start with some glute kicks for a few seconds, not long. Again, these are our warm-ups, so the cardio section is not insane today. And then after this, we'll go into our twist jumps, and then we'll do 5-6 more exercises after that. So glute kicks right now. And you can do hands on hips, you can hold your hands together in front of you, whatever is most comfortable for you. There's really no right way to do it. All that we're trying to do is just get that heart rate up. All right, so now for our twist jumps, our torso twist, we will have our feet together, and all we're doing is just using our feet to push us up, so kind of working the calves, and then using our core to help twist us. So not a lot of movement from the upper body. A lot of it is just coming from that core. So you really have to squeeze. Using your obliques to twist and using your calf muscles to push yourself off. All right, now we're going to do some squat hops. So we have our squat and then hop right here. It doesn't have to be an insanely crazy high jump. It's just a little leap, as you can see right here. Going back to that squat. Just a few more here. All right, now we're going to go back into our reverse lunge here, and then bring our knee up to our chest, squeezing that core in. Same thing, reverse lunge and squeeze. Reverse lunge, squeeze. You'll also really feel this in your calf as well. Use your calf on your standing leg to help stabilize yourself. Other side. And squeeze. First lunge and squeeze. One more here. All right, now we're going to take a wide stance. We've done these before. If you've done workouts with me, you have a wide stance. Feet are pointed outward, going down to like a sumo squat. Come up into a calf raise. Down and calf raise. And our next thing, we're going to grab our band for our floor portion of our workout. So, one more right here. All right, now grab your band if you are joining in for this. If not, feel free to do body weight only. You'll just have less of that resistance. No worries at all though. Alrighty, so band, grab it, put it around your feet here, and then we're starting on our backs. So laying back, and as you're pushing up, you're gonna squeeze that core. You really squeeze your core throughout all of this. Even though you're working your glutes, you still want a lot of it to be focused in on your core. So that's gonna be what is gonna help stabilize you. So up and squeeze. And then you're abducting your legs. So pushing them out against that band. And again, if you don't have a band, you can just do this with body weight only. Act as if there's a string almost pulling you up, and that's gonna help you to keep your glutes up, your chest up, because as you continue to do these, you'll start to notice that you feel like you're dropping. You may not even notice it, and then all of a sudden you realize you're almost flat with your legs. So keep that core tight and act as if there's a screen pulling you, and continuously check in, check your form. All right, now we're gonna add a bridge right here. So coming down and then pushing up, abduction. Down, pushing up, abduct. Down, pushing up, abduct. As far as you can go out. It also just depends on the level of resistance that your band has. This one doesn't have a ton of resistance, so not super, super hard. Down, up, squeeze. Down, up, squeeze. Now this is gonna be a little bit more challenging. We're gonna have one leg go straight up, and now we're just going to be doing a glute bridge with one leg. So you'll really, really feel that if you have your right foot in the air and your left foot on the ground. You should really, really feel that in your left glute. Squeezing hard. And switch. Same thing. So your left leg is now in the air, and your right glute is doing all the work. Feel it in your glutes. And if you need to push your foot away, or maybe move it outwards or angle it out, if you have knee pain, angle your foot a little more outward and take half a step up and see if that helps relieve it. Two more. Awesome. Now coming up, same thing that we did on the ground, except now we're going to be in an almost crab position, I guess you would call it. So pushing up in here, we're just abducting right here. And crab position. It wouldn't be tabletop because tabletop is the other way. So we'll call it crab. Squeeze, abduct, squeeze, abduct. You got it. All right, now going on our side, we're gonna do a mix of obliques in with our side abductions, and we'll be doing a little bit of glute minimus, glute medius work as well for these side movements. So going completely on your side, we're gonna start with a side plank with dips. So up, you can keep that band on or you can take it off. Really not needed for this part right here. Down and up. All right, now we're gonna add a little bit of a twist to it. So we have our hand up right here, and we're gonna be threading the needle. Keeping that core squeezed. One more. Perfecto. Now we're going to be going up high in our side plank. One leg is going to go behind us, and we'll have one leg out to the side, just moving upwards ever so slightly. And to feel it more in your glute, slightly angle your leg a little bit behind you, not completely behind you, just ever so slightly. Perfect. Back down to the ground, and we'll do some side V-ups. So for these, again, it's a tiny movement, but you really want to make sure that you're doing it correctly and feeling it. It's almost as if you're folding yourself up. So it's as if someone's coming right here and someone's coming right here with the giant book and they're just closing you. So you want to make it to where your elbow is almost touching your hip if you put your hands behind your head, and then continue to mimic that movement. And if you feel a little off balance, that's okay. I sometimes will roll around in these because they are kind of hard. They definitely require a level of stability. Perfect. All right, now coming to the middle, same thing. We'll have our feet in a 90-degree angle, and we'll be coming up to a crunch. These are my absolute favorite. If you've ever trained with me before or you've watched one of these videos, you know that I incorporate these moves into everything. So we'll do these. And again, if you've seen it, you know, you don't have to come all the way up. The goal shouldn't be to hit your elbows to your knees or your face to your knees. You just want to feel that contraction. Once you feel it and you feel the tension, you can release and then come back up. So don't worry about going all the way up. More so worry about going until you feel that tension in your core squeeze. Two more. I feel like I have an ant bug bite on my ankle. I just get eaten by bugs. It's actually insane. Okay, now for these, we're going to have our legs spread like a V shape, and we're just going to be abducting them in the air. Stretching it out here. And then after 5 more, we're going to slowly raise and slowly lower. I think that was 5. I forgot to count. Okay, raise, lower, and slight hip pulse upwards. So as you're doing these, take it up. Once you hit that, where you're almost like kicking the ceiling, if you were to get pushed upwards, you were just going to ever so slightly, again, squeeze that core and lift the bottom half of your tailbone. So it's very, very small. You still have your top part of your spine staying on the floor. The only thing that's moving is that tiny little bottom of your tailbone. Push up. And you really have to squeeze to make sure these are done correctly. 2 more. Actually, 3 more, just for good measure. 1 more here. Perfect. Now, other side, exactly what we already did on this right side, we'll be doing on the left side. So if you remember, we have our plank dips, and then at the plank dips, we have our thread the needles, and then we're going to those side kick funny things where you're kicking backwards. Okay, so starting with the dip. We don't have a crazy amount here. It's so funny, I can see my socks in the video as I'm looking at it. They're like glowing. I love neon things. I remember when like neon was like huge, like it was so in style, and I feel like, I don't really know if it's like out of style, but I just don't really see it as much. Okay, thread the needle. Two more. Perfect. All right, so now coming up, and you'll be in a high side plank. Once again, you are kicking up, not exactly straight out, but more so at an angle, like you're doing a kickback on the cable machine. If you've never done those, it's like you're just doing like a backwards donkey kick at an angle. 5 more. Awesome. Now coming on our knees, we've done these before. So it'll be a kneeling squat. You are going to put your feet touching to each other. Knees are going to be spread, pushing your glutes back like you're sitting into a chair. It's the same exact movement as if you're standing up as you're pushing back, keeping that spine neutral. You're not doing anything crazy with your back. Make sure you're not arching it back or curling it in. Just slow and controlled down. If you feel like your back's doing something funky or you feel any pain, try either pushing your legs more outward or coming more inward. Either one of those little tweaks can help you with your form. Two more here. Awesome. All right, now we'll be grabbing our dumbbells and moving into our dumbbell section. So go ahead and grab dumbbells if you don't have dumbbells. Again, you can do these completely body weight. Now you won't really feel as much of the challenge as doing it with weights, but you'll still definitely feel something. Okay, these are 8 pounds, even though they feel a lot heavier, but they're 8 pounds. So we're gonna start with a good morning. 4 good mornings. It's almost like an RDL if you've ever done those. However, you're going to really be focusing more so on that hinge, not so much anything about what your arms are doing. It's also a little bit easier too because you don't have to worry about squeezing your arms back or your lats back, but you do want to make sure that you're not dropping your chest as you're coming down. What I mean by that is that you're staying completely in line with your spine as you're moving down. So, hinging at the hips, an ever so slight bend in our knees, nothing crazy. And once you feel that tension in your hamstrings, come back up. So, as you can see, my spine isn't doing anything crazy. I'm not arching my back or pushing my stomach outward. I'm keeping that neutral spine, as in hinging at the hips and coming back up when I feel that pull on the hamstrings. A lot of this does have to do with flexibility, which is why we do like pikes and things. And you'll notice that with time, you'll be able to go a little further. So if this is as far as you can go, that's perfectly fine. With time and consistency and stretching, you will get to go a little lower. I am not naturally super flexible, so this has definitely been something that I've been working on for a while. And I still don't go all the way. All right, awesome job there. Now we'll be doing single leg RDLs. Each dumbbell will be in your hand. These are also a movement that, let's say, you are not super familiar with working out, or you're like, I'm not that flexible, my legs definitely need some work, then do it body weight. It is still so much of a challenge, just body weight alone. And it's okay if you get wobbly, just go back and start over. So slowly, we're taking our hands as we're gripping, dropping them down, but don't so much think about the goal being to touch the ground. The goal is to hinge at the hip as you're coming down. That back leg is squeezing, and separating, making an L shape. What you need to be thinking about in terms of the upper part of your body is squeezing those lats together. So squeezing those blades together, keeping it, again, a neutral spine. I feel like I say that at least 60 times a day, but that is a huge thing. Okay, one more here. And switch. And same thing like what we did with the other side. If you feel like you're not going down super far, if this is your farthest right here and you're like, I just feel like I'm not doing it right, you are doing it right. You just have to work on flexibility. That's it. But that's the first step, is just figuring out what you need to work on and then working on it. I still have to work on my flexibility too. There's always one leg that is not as strong as the other. For me, it is this one. So coming down again, creating an L shape with your legs, squeezing the glutes so that the glute that's floating, the leg that's floating, is staying in that L position, staying in place. Ensure that your hips are squared off to whatever you're facing, whether that's a wall, whether that's a window, and coming down, squeezing. All right, 3 more here. 1, squeeze. Squeeze the lats, 2, and here's our final one. Make it your best. 3. Now, dumbbells up to the shoulders, no rest right here. We're going straight into a squat. So pushing back squat. You can also hold these side by side, but it's a little funky when you're doing the squat motion. Sit back and up. back and up. I think we're almost at our time. Look how quickly that went by. Now, we only have a few minutes left. See how quick and easy that was? Nothing terrible. And one more here. Awesome. Now, take a little bit of a breather, grab a drink or whatever it is you need, and then swap. If you have a weight in your hand or 2 weights in your hand, swap for just 1 weight. Okay, 1 weight in hand. We're doing a single arm swing. So you may have seen these or done these with the kettlebell. As you're coming down, you're hinging at the hips again. Your feet are spread outward. If you need to slightly angle your feet for tight hips, whatever you may be dealing with, go ahead and do that. And all you're doing is coming down, hinge at the hips, as you're pushing the dumbbell back, swinging it up, grabbing it with your opposite arm. Same thing. Here. It becomes very fluid. It's a lot harder to do in slow motion. But as you see, swinging back, tossing it to my other hand, swinging back. Grab and swing. And your gaze should be keeping that spine in check. It can either be on your dumbbell when you throw it up, or it can be a spot on the ground, but your gaze is not coming too far upwards. So if you have a mirror in front of you, this is not the exercise that you watch yourself on. 1 more. Perfect. And then now we're going to end this section with those good mornings again. So let's finish it off strong. We saw a few new exercises. These are definitely one that we want to master because we'll be seeing these again in our next workout. So again here, hinge at the hip, push back, come back up, hinge at the hips. And you got the hips, and push back. Last one, make it your best one. All right. Great job, everyone. Great job. And again, we're gonna do our little cool down right now. Again, that wasn't a crazy wild workout, but our goal here is to make it to where we are able to see how we can get a good workout in, and it doesn't have to be 30 minutes long. Something that can just get your body moving, get your body up and going is key. And with that, you can start adding to make it a little bit longer. You can add different components to make it more challenging, add weight to make it more challenging. But what we're here to do twice a week, because we have our live workouts on Mondays, Wednesdays. Occasionally I swap Wednesday and Thursday. It just depends. But it'll always be a quick one. So no matter what you're doing, it won't take too much of your time, and you can fit it in super nicely. All right. Super great job. Let's do some leg swings right here. Hip hop right there. Scurry. And that is it. Amazing job. I'm going to turn this light off. So you can see as I come to it, it's like super bright. I'm like glowing over here. Let me see if I can turn it off. There we go. Yay. I have so many wires over here. Oh my gosh. I didn't ever. When I first started working, I worked with like a desktop. And then I was like, I'm not going to work with the desktop anymore because I want to be able to, like, when I travel, I don't want to have to stress about not having my desktop, because a desktop, carrying that around is not fun. Like, I would occasionally drive between Austin and Frisco. It's only like 3.5 hours, but like having to like tote around a giant desktop, so annoying. Anyway, I brought it back because I'm just so much more productive when I have like 2 screens, and the wires of my desk are insane with my like ring light, and then I have like a lamp over in the corner, and I have like charging cables. No wonder my electricity is insane, because now I have this desktop to add, and I have an at-home treadmill. So like a lot of electricity is pumping. But I read online that if you like unplug everything, not just turn it off, you have to like physically unplug it in order for the electricity to like not keep running. little tip there that I'm sure most people were like, duh. I did not know that though, so that was news to me. Okay, anyway, enough about my electricity usage. Can't talk. For a second, I thought today was Thursday because I normally do these on Thursdays, and I was like, oh wait, it's actually Wednesday. That's a good realization, I guess. This week hasn't been too crazy. A lot of like work, but like nothing brutal. So that's good. I hope everyone else is having a good week too, and hopefully for those who joined in this workout, it was a good little break from your normal day. Not sure what time it is where you live, but for most people, it's like the end of the day, end-ish, or maybe you're just getting started with whatever it is that you do. So thank you again for coming, and I will be back here on Monday for a little arm workout. Maybe we'll do a little cardio. I feel like every time I'm like, cardio day, everyone's like, okay, bye. And they jump because cardio days are sometimes a little tough. But whatever we end up doing, it'll be fun. I appreciate you joining. Adios.